Hey, I'm Volt. Welcome back to another tutorial. This one's going to be for emissives and glitter and how to get your stuff to glow and sparkle a little bit. So, there's only going to be 4 things you're going to need for this. Unity 2019.4.31F1, specifically that version. Uni VRM. This allows you to import your VRM into Unity. VSF SDK. This allows you to export your model with all the fancy features that VRM does not support. If you want to use VNAN, you can also use VNAN, but VNAN also does support the VSF SDK format. And then Poyomi. Poyomi is how we're going to do all the fancy stuff today. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. We'll go ahead and go to here. This is a tutorial. This is from another tutorial. Disregard everything here. Don't worry about it. Pretend this is your stock model. So you have your model here. You've dropped it into the hierarchy. If you're wondering how to import everything, just drag everything into your asset folder. Next, 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 then you're done. I will include links for everything down in the description. If you do not have Unity GLTF, VRM0, VSF SDK, or Poi, you did not install all those plugins correctly. VRM0 and Unity GLTF is for Uni VRM. Poi is for Poyomi, and VSF SDK obviously is for VSF SDK. You need these to be up here or else the plugin is not installed correctly. Once all of that is covered, we're ready to start playing stuff. So drag your model into the hierarchy and we're going to start playing around. So your model won't look like this. This is this has the real-time ray trace shaders and shadows from the ray trace shaders and shadows tutorial, but we don't need to worry about that. We're going to color the hair. Like how I have mine done, I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to create a new folder here for materials, because you can use this on anything. If you want these lights right here, these are emissive. I've covered these in a live tutorial that I did on this past Saturday on how to make this room. And I'll show you what that looks like real quick. Poof. It does that. Fancy stuff. This tutorial covers how to do that. We're just going to do it on the hair because I haven't done anything with the hair yet. So we're going to click on our folder, right click, create, and material. We're going to call this hair glitter. This will cover the glitter part, and then we're going to do another material for hair emissive. These are going to be 2 different. You can make the hair emissive and glitter at the same time, but it won't be the same emissive, and I'm going to show you what's different about them. Poyomi does emissives different than the standard emissive does. This is a standard emissive up here. I'm going to show you material, Poi emissive. I'm going to show you what that does real quick, so you can decide what you like better. So this material for the Poi emissive, you don't have to do this one. I'm just going to show you exactly what it looks like. And we're going to go to special effects, emissive, place base color. We're going to do we'll do a white just like what's here. Bring that up. We don't actually need that high. Emissive strength, and drop that on here. Now if I turn on my camera, my post-processing, and do my emissives, you'll see it changes. This one, while they will look very similar, they won't do the same stuff. So this one over here, this one creates lighting effects on the wall. Oh, where was it? There's. If you see over there how it lights up the wall a little bit, this one cannot. It cannot do that. I don't know how to get it to do that. I've tried many things, but I cannot get it to do that. So that is the main difference here, is that this one can affect the environment, while this one just looks cool. So I'll show you how to cover both of those. But for now, also, you will not be able to see yours like this. Yours will not look like this. I have a post-processing behavior attached to mine, your emissives will look like this until you put them in VC Face. And in VC Face, you will edit the, look at this right here. Check it out, check it out. Settings, effects, bloom. When you edit the bloom settings, what do I have on 2.65? It does that. It brings out the emissives. And then from there, you can also edit the diffuse, 6.93, which, as you see, it adds that little bit of haze over it. And you just got to play with those settings from there, get them how you like them. And, but that's how you're going to be able to see it. Unless you want to add a post-processing behavior to your camera. That's a whole other video on itself. But for now, you're just going to have to go into VC Face to do it. But, okay, hair glitter. We're going to start with this one. We're going to give it Poyomi 8.0. You will use Poyomi Tune. I'm using World because I accidentally deleted Tune. So, special effects. Let's go ahead and give it a color here. I like yellow. Maybe more of like that kind of yellow. Now, you don't have to because you can replace it with Emissive. But we're going to start out with glitter. Glitter and sparkle. So let's go ahead and plop it onto a big piece of hair here. And by default, it looks pretty good. But I'm going to show you how to play with settings here. So, use surface color. Actually changes it to the color of the surface that it's on. Panning allows it to actually physically move. You can move in that axis, or you can move in that axis, or you can move in both axes and move, you know, sideways. Axi, maybe? Axi? Axes? However you want to pronounce that. Rotation speed won't really affect them. It's just physically how they spin, but I haven't really noticed a difference really too well unless you physically zoom in on them really far. Glitter density is exactly how it sounds, and it just increases the density and how much glitter actually exists. By default, it's 300. Glitter jitter is just how much it sparkles and changes. I don't really notice too much of a difference. Speed is just physically how much it moves. Size is how big it is. Contrast kind of acts like a density, as it just kind of creates more of them. Also, glitter bias kind of does the same thing. I don't really notice a difference between contrast and bias. So play with those as you please. Minimum brightness and maximum brightness. I like to keep those very far apart, because if you bring them up, don't ever touch the minimum brightness, but the maximum, you can increase that a little bit. You can also make this random stuff, and it changes each one of these into a different color. You can actually choose how big they are, saturation range, maybe like a full saturation, it's a full color all the time, and random size, cool stuff. Or you can make them completely like RGB. So hue shift speed of 5, and we'll start at 5. No, we need a color for that. Color. There you go. And now you have RGB sparkles. Cool stuff. Bring it back to white. Back to there. All right, and that's the basics of how to create sparkles. And now you can also use UV, and you can use like Panosphere. These will also change how it physically renders onto the hair. Only ones that really I noticed change things is Panosphere and Polar. Other than that, you can play with these different settings, see how you like it. But that's basically how you add glitter. And now we're also going to add emissive. So we're going to grab our yellow, bring the emissive up. Now you can also, you actually don't need to change this. I just want it to be the yellow here, and you can also choose to replace the base color or not. Let's get it close, get that pastel back. And now from the tiniest bit here, the tiniest bit will automatically, let me turn off the light here, see if this works. It'll automatically be glowing. So from the tiniest bit. But you can do more. Now, the more you mess with this, the more you just see it turn white. But if you look in VC Face, once you've exported the model, as you'll see here, once I turn my post-processing back on, and we'll click back on this, it changes very drastically. And now you can also use this right here, this intensity slider. Does the same thing. So play with these, find your happy medium, and that's it for Poyomi's version. Now, for the standard version, which is much more environmental effectiveness. You know what I mean. It affects the environment more. But it still kind of looks the same. So we're going to choose our color, our yellow. We're going to make it a different shade of yellow. That way we can tell them apart easier. And we're going to turn on Emissive. And then we're actually this is what we need to make yellow right there. And then from here, you just increase the intensity. But the downside of this is you can't add sparkles to this version. But you can, so we can go like this, pull this down, change it up. You know, it can be more customizable, and see how this is reflecting off of the environment here. It's reflecting off of the walls. This is what standard can do that Poyomi can't. But you also can't turn it RGB like this either. So you got to find what you want. You can also use these if you want. That increases it in stages. It just increases this, really. There you go. There's Emissives. There's glitter and Emissives. Two different ways to do it. Two different outcomes. But the same thing overall. That's all it is. Simple as that. Play with it. Have fun. Post your results in the Discord. We have a Unity showcase where you can post up what you've done in Unity, the fancy things you've created. We love to see that kind of stuff. If you need any help, I'll be in the Discord. Hit me up on Twitter. Anywhere you can. I'm always free. I'm always available. And always happy to answer your questions. As for now, if you want to see me do this stuff live, I do it every Saturday at 4 p.m. for our Unity Dev Nights. Other than that, I am live Wednesday through Saturday, 4 p.m. doing all kinds of stuff. Feel free to drop by, ask questions, hang out, have fun. If you have any questions when I'm offline, as I said, Discord, Twitter. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Volt out. Bye.